Hey guys, today we will be talking about what's important when you buy a vintage Polaroid 600 type camera, what pitfalls to avoid and what models are good. A lot of different models of this kind of camera, but in the end they're actually basically pretty much the same. Polaroid started the production of this kind of camera back in the 80s and they produced the camera until the early 2000s. So about 20 years of production, but in the end even the cameras that were made in the late 80s are actually pretty much the same like the ones in the 90s or in the 2000s. They do look a little bit different, but there's just a few functions on this kind of camera that is actually different on the various models. Apart from looking for a model that you like, there are a few features to look out for. So Polaroid made actually two different kind of cameras. They made a model with a fixed focus and they made an autofocus model. The fixed focus model basically says everything from 1.2 meters till infinity is gonna be in focus. And the autofocus model has different zones for focusing. And you can go as close as 60 centimeters or 2 feet with the autofocus model. Polaroid also made a fixed focus camera with a close-up lens. And like this model here, you have a close-up lens and you can slide it in front of the regular lens, and then you can go take pictures in between 60 centimeters and 1.2 meters or 2 and 4 feet. So if you look for a model, either go for one with autofocus or go for one with a fixed focus and a close-up lens. I would avoid getting a fixed focus model that does not have a close-up lens. The close-up lens adds value to the camera and actually it doesn't make the camera more expensive. You can recognize the autofocus camera either by the name, it says some kind of like Polaroid 636EF for autofocus, or some of them also have a golden circle, which is sonar. So your camera will send out sonar waves like bats, and when the first thing comes in between the camera and the wave, it will send information back and the camera will choose the lens accordingly. So either go for the name EF or look out for the golden circle. Also, what's important is that you should buy a Polaroid 600 box type camera that has a flash. There are a few models that do not have the flash, like the Polaroid Amigo. I would avoid getting one of those because, again, there's not really a huge price difference between models that have a flash and models that don't have it. So the newer models that were made like in the late 90s, they're actually rounder in shape. The older models, they are look a little bit more like a box and they have more edges. And usually people like the older models a little bit better. I think they look more vintage and people prefer that look. The newer models, they are a little bit more reliable. They don't break down as easy as the older ones, but it's not really a big difference. In my experience, you could really go for also one that was made in the 80s. Usually you don't really use the camera that much. And in the end, they're both pretty much the same camera. I cannot really say if there is like a better image quality or anything, only that the newer models are a little bit more reliable. A really good way to find out if the Polaroid camera that you have in your hand is working is testing it with an empty film pack. So the Polaroid cameras, the old Polaroid cameras, they do not have an extra battery. The battery comes with the film pack. Looks like this, and you can see you have the contacts here on the bottom of the film pack. And what you can do is you can use this empty film pack, you throw it in the camera. If the camera makes the noise and cycle, then you can think, okay, it looks like camera should work. We'll try this in a minute. What you can do on top of it to make the test even better, you can add old pictures in the film pack. We do have a video for that. I would recommend checking that out, how to do that, but I will show you what I mean. So we put in old pictures into this film pack, and now we can test the camera without taking a real picture and without using an expensive film on a camera that maybe is not working. So what you're gonna do is you just take this camera, you open the film door, you put in the film pack, you close it, and then the camera should eject the dark slide. Okay, so this is good. Dark slide was ejected. This is the first test. Then you have to test the shutter buttons of the camera. You start with the shutter button without flash. The camera ejects the picture. That's good. And you can also check if the shutter opens and closes and it looks normal. So you can look into the camera, press the shutter, and see if the shutter opens and closes and it looks normal. And the next test is that you test the camera also with the shutter button with flash. See if the flash fires. So this camera is actually working. You heard it is a little bit scratchy, but it is working fine. It looks pretty good. So what else can you test with the camera? Basically you can see if the roll is... but I think this is like... if you test the camera like this and it did the sounds and the noise and the flash fires and the shutter opens, then in almost more than 90% of the time I would say the camera is working fine. And you have a winner. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions about buying Polaroid cameras that I did not tackle in this video, just leave them in the comments and see you soon.